Hello, everyone. My name is Justin, and I would like to thank the host, my partner Andrew, my opponents Alexis and Sandra, and everybody here watching today. Today, we're going to be discussing climate change. There's two sides to climate change. One, there's people who believe that it is a growing threat and something that needs to be dealt with accordingly, and that if we don't deal with it now, things will be very bad in the future. However, there's people on the other side as well that believe that climate change is more of a theory than an actual fact, and that there isn't enough evidence to actually support this as true and factual. And that is what me and my partner Andrew believe in, and what we will be discussing as a fact. There are three claims being made by the opposition. These include making people aware of global warming, taking action to keep pollution low, and the rising sea levels that are evident throughout the world. However, I dismiss these arguments as we feel much differently about the issue because of the factual evidence that goes against these things. First, the claim being made is that people need to be aware as an increase in awareness will lead to change. However, I believe that this isn't a sufficient claim because it isn't an actual argument that proves climate change to be factual. It's more just saying people need to be aware. But also, according to Mark Perry in 2019, 500 experts said that there is no climate emergency, warming is slower than predicted, and it relies on inadequate models. So there's a lot of things that go against climate change in these aspects. Secondly, the next claim is about taking action to keep pollution low. Of course, keeping pollution low is good and something that we should all strive to do. However, we have shown how many experts feel otherwise. According to a 2018 claim from Oregon Institute of Science and Medicine, 31,000 scientists found no convincing evidence of climate change, which goes to show that there are probably other ways to deal with pollution in the environment than believing a theory of climate change where there isn't enough factual evidence for it. The blame on the other side is that the government and politics are to blame. And I respectfully disagree. People in our great nation decide for themselves, and we all have equal say in what is true and what is false in terms of being able to debate about things. I don't believe that politics and our government really has a say over how we feel. Therefore, I believe that it is our best interest and the people of this country to be able to decide the direction of denying climate change or accepting it as a fact. In other words, it's for us to decide. The advantages suggested are that it will provide education and make our planet clean. However, there are much different ways to be able to make a planet a clean, safe way, a clean and safe place, rather than believing a theory that isn't completely backed by evidence. And while beneficial, it does not have to be reflected in that way. Andrew made great points about why climate change is not factual. There are businesses that can shut down, and there are people that could lose their jobs out of climate change going through, and people eliminating the fossil fuel industry, which means our economy will take a big hit. And also, it could cause a big outroar of fear because people aren't going to know what to do because they're going to think that there's a crisis, even though there may not be the same kind of crisis that they were expecting there to be. As we learned from my partner Andrew, global warming is not as serious as our opponents may suggest. Numerous studies have downplayed the impact of global warming and that our country is nowhere near a crisis. Also, we understand that our economy will truly suffer if we are able to take out the fossil fuel industry. According to staff at the Environmental Defense Fund in 2020, within the next decades, the more than 300 counties with active coal plants and mines will lose a significant source of tax revenue and jobs. Our opponents claim that we are focused on millionaires and bailing out big corporations. But in reality, we're focused on people like you, everyday Americans who try to work hard for a living and try to raise a family and have their own responsibilities. We're looking out for you, the people. Another argument that I would like to introduce is that CO2 produced by fossil fuels is, among other factors, is reabsorbed by carbon sinks, which negates substantial climate changes. A study shown by scientists in 2020, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, found evidence that forests are increasing the growth rate in response to CO2 elevation, and this will in turn lower atmospheric CO2 levels. So in other words, the CO2 actually isn't all harmful, meaning there actually are some benefits to it, which some people didn't really think about. Our case has numerous advantages. We can preserve and add many jobs, prevent public disruption out of a result of fear, and focus on alternative ways to care for our environment rather than a theory that is very controversial and can often divide people instead of bringing us together, like we should all aspire to do. Let's keep the peace in our great nation. I ask for your vote because our main focus is to improve the everyday lives of every American family. Climate change is a theory, and I don't believe, because of the evidence, that there is substantial evidence, because there's substantial evidence against it. And those who are on the other side have an influence, and it can lead to many Americans losing their jobs if climate change were to actually be pursued and the fossil fuel industry was destroyed. Therefore, a vote for us is a vote for a brighter future, a brighter tomorrow, and a brighter United States of America. Thank you.